somebody. They want to spoil somebody. If you come out the shower, you just wash.
All right, greetings and hotep. God woke me up at 3 a.m., so I'm up fighting the witches with that full moon energy. You know, they like to really get going and manipulate other people's world because they're pitiful. And I don't think they can help from being pitiful because usually when people can do better, they do better. So I want to talk about some of the feelings and emotions that ran through me as I tried to get a refund from the red, white, and blue thrift store after purchasing one of these Coleman. I guess I'll just go in here real quick. One of these Coleman grills. I was really excited because I want to be able to cook my own food and depend on the church a lot less. I'm very grateful to the churches that have kept my children and I fed and comforted with clothes and allowed us to take showers. I mean, we have great ministries here in Tampa, Florida, so kudos to you. And thank you very much. And like I said, when my money comes, I will give $1,000 donation to each of you. And I apologize to, should I say their name? No, to the ministry that I told you I was going to give you $1,000. They ended up stealing that money too. So without having a mailbox of your own, people, well, even when we did have the mailbox, they were still bribing the mail carrier when I was at my house at 6010 North 32nd Street. The fat minister mail carrier was meeting my brother, I am alleging, up the block on the corner of 32nd and Hannah, and I'm alleging that they were giving over my mail. So just because you have a mailbox doesn't mean you're going to get your mail. After I told my nephew about me going online and signing up for the digital notification where you can find out what mail is coming and when it's going to be delivered, something changed and I was no longer able to get those notifications. It took me a little while to realize that me talking to my nephew really destroyed my life. Okay. So I bought one of these from the red, white, and blue thrift store. I was all excited. It took me a little while to get up the $20 to buy the Coleman white gas and see it sitting there on the table. That's this one is a gallon of fuel. It's 14.98, and there's no tax on it. I don't know what that means, but I went and bought that. Came here, pulled out the directions, and I told my daughter, "We're gonna cook! Yay!" We were all excited, and we did what they said do. Turn the one revolution on the regulator, or was it the pump? I don't really know the parts. You do your 35 pumps, and then you stick it into the little hole, attach the gas tank, open the little valve, and then light the burner. And it would light, it got really high, and it started burning at the box. Let me see if I can find the little box I'm talking about. I'm going to keep trying this because I got this unit and I can't, like I told the guy at the thrift store, I can't afford a $34.99 plus tax hit. That was pretty much the whole $40 that was given to me by John Waldron. And I was just all excited about being able to control the food that goes into my body and being able to. So my daughter and I, we did this a couple of times, and the fire would just keep going flat, going flat. And what I like about this unit is it has its own gas tank. It's small and compact. With my homeless ministry, I want to start cooking on site. Just eggs. I'm just going to boil eggs, give everybody 2 to 4 eggs, and you're going to have to buy your own condiments. I'm not going to be walking around with salt. I'm not going to be walking around with pepper. And, do you got some hot sauce? Do you have some mustard? Do you have mayonnaise? You got a food stamp card if you're homeless. You carry your own condiments. That's the way I do. I have a condiment bag. When I go places, I don't carry it so much anymore. I don't know why not. I usually have my salt, my pepper, my garlic powder, ketchup, mustard, mayo, hot sauce. I don't know if he's going to actually do it, but I don't know. Which one do we have? I want him to open it. I think that's the one we have with the 2 burners. That looks too small. So I think it's the other one. I don't know if he's going to actually go through the process of. Okay, so I don't think he's going to actually. So I want to go to, and I don't really want to badmouth the red, white, and blue thrift store, but when they first opened, they had great, great deals. It's like when things first kick off, and I bought a lot of, what do you call it? Red, white, and blue, red, white, and blue short film. So I'm gonna go there. Just back up a little bit. I guess what's frustrating me about this is I'm trying to pull myself together to get back to work. Okay, so a lot of people who are into eBay posting, and even the flea market crowd. We still have a couple of small flea markets here in Tampa, Florida, even though Funland closed. This is the logo now. What frustrated me is I called him after I left the store, and he hung up on me. I said I was in there trying to return something, and click. So it's like, okay, that's really frustrating. Now, this is what I think. Is it my flesh that wants to talk about this, or God, are you prompting me to talk about this? Okay, God is prompting me to talk about this. Uh, Usually I don't get this angry, but For some reason, after I left the thrift store, my daughter was saying, "You're not going to get your money back." And the people in the store were saying, "You're not going to get your money back." I was saying, "I will get my money back." Once you upset me to the point where I'm on one, I usually get what I am working to get. So my daughter and I ended up talking about many things. I said, you have to be more emotionally tough than you are. You're in the store telling me, well, Mom, I got $30. I'll just give you the $30. Now, she had just made $30. She's selling fundraiser chocolate to buy herself another iPad. We don't have, my children don't have fathers that participate in supporting their lives. The checks go somewhere else or something. I don't know. They don't stop by on birthdays. They don't stop by on Christmas and say, hey, here's, a little acknowledgement, go buy yourself something nice. They don't do it. Um, let's see. That's a lot to go through. Red, white, and blue thrift store corporate office. It doesn't say red, white, and blue corporate office. So we started trying to find the red, white, and blue corporate office. So let me show you. Now this is a place that only takes cash. If you have any questions, please contact us. You can find our store phone numbers and addresses by visiting our locations page. Okay. So I'm assuming this is the locations page. So I guess this is why Edgar and the other guy were kind of confused, because the organizational structure of this company really seems to be kind of like, I would say, sketchy and scammy. There was a company attorney, Toby Smith. I tried to find him. Come on up. They out there? They out there, Luna? Get gone. Sometimes it sounds like there's people on the roof, like they're sawing something. And Luna, whenever she detects something, she responds. Let me see. So, and this is going to be a little bit choppy, the video, because of how our life is right now. So pardon us. And you can always hit that advance button if you don't want to go through what we're going through. And this guy, Toby, said we can hide your company with fake LLCs and basically give your company an alias, give you an alias, like that. And the company that ended up evicting me, four of my children, and my nephew Alex, A Plus Properties, the owner allegedly is named Eric Allen. Come on up here. But I think that's an alias for my brother Anthony K. Atkins. K is his middle initial. And I think that, the company doesn't really exist, or it didn't when I researched the paperwork they gave me, the eviction notice, the property manager was Evelyn Rizzardo, and she didn't have a notary republic license. She wasn't certified and bonded to be a notary public, but she had a notary republic seal, which means they committed fraud and some other things, impersonating a notary public. I'm pretty sure that carries some kind of jail time. And I did the things. I went to sunbiz.com to look them up, and they didn't have an active business license, so it was scammy. Now, right now, today, they might have gotten all of that worked out, but at the time, they did not. And I videotaped, I recorded the same way I'm doing now, except on a live. I recorded it to a SD card that this business was not really real. But in my yard was four Hillsborough sheriff officers and four Tampa police officers, or four impersonators of sheriffs and four impersonators of the Tampa Police Department. I don't know which ones. Or officers that were legit officers, but they were on the take, meaning they were doing a friend a favor. So I don't know what the actual truth is yet. I do know that I left my home because I didn't want to go to jail by resisting in front of my four children, and my four children end up going different ways and being in the system and child protective custody and all of that stuff. I just decided lay the activists down and keep your family together as much as possible. The last time I had to deal with a situation like this, I was pregnant, and I decided to go the activist route. And at 3 days old, after they cut my children out of my womb at Morton Plant Meese Hospital, Clearwater Beach, Florida, at 3 days old, they took my children into DCF custody or state custody, alleging that I was trying to harm my children by requesting Lotus birth and asking the doctors not to clamp the cords so that my two twins, boy girl twin, a moon and a set, could get all of their blood, all of the nutrients that travel in the blood, including the oxygen that travels in the blood. And because I told them that I was talking with my babies in my womb, they concocted a story and said she's hearing voices, gave me a bogus, what do you call it, diagnosis, NOS, let's see, psychosis, NOS. NOS is an acronym that means not otherwise specified. Now, I didn't say I was hearing voices. I said I was talking to my babies in my womb. So I was talking to real people. Just because they were still inside of my belly doesn't mean they can't hear. And so that was a real traumatic event. So when Hillsborough sheriff officers stood in my doorway and said, well, you got to get out. And I said, no, I put in a motion to stay at the courthouse, the 13th Judicial Circuit Courthouse. He claimed he went and called, and he said it was denied. That's what he said, that the judge denied. I pretty much thought he was lying. When they make a phone call in front of you, just assume they're lying. Do police officers lie? Of course they do. Do sheriff officers lie? Of course they do. People lie. It doesn't matter. Do judges lie? Yes, they do. Do doctors lie? Yes, they do. If you are one of those people that you worship people because they have a little job, what you have to do is say, what's the difference between me and this person? They went to school for this amount of years. They took the Florida bar. They went the extra year to get their LLM to become a judge. But does that warrant you worshiping them? Hell no. It's still a person. And people, people. So you have to see them that way. And that way we can get some accountability back into this thing. Right now, many of them acting way out of order. And we need more checks and balances so that we can actually get justice for real. So back to trying to contact the home office here. This is what you get. There is no home office corporate, it seems. All stores are on the same level. So whoever's at the top of that store chain is the person you're going to deal with. So California, Let's see, I guess it's just going to list all the stores. Wow, they have a lot of stores in California. Colorado, Denver. I think I got property in Denver. Do I have property in Denver, John? North Miami, Hialeah, Florida, Jacksonville, World Thrift, Lake Worth, Florida. Del Mabry. Wait a minute, that says Dixie Highway, and then this is the store. I visited 220 West Waters Avenue. I didn't know that was called the Seminole Heights Plaza. I didn't know they considered Waters in Florida to be Seminole Heights. Okay. There's one on West Hillsborough. I'm going to have to go check that out. Okay, so this is the one that I went to. So they gave me this number, and I called that number. Let's see, can I call that number right now? Let's see if I can call it right now and see what happens. Text free and text now. See if it'll work. I'm going to leave a message if I'm allowed to leave a message. I don't have anything against any ethnicity, but I noticed that this store is primarily ran by Spanish-speaking people, so a lot of times we have a barrier. And one of the things I love about, I'm going to say, my Spanish brothers and sisters,
thank you for calling Red, White, and Blue Thrift
they
Store.
stick together.
Our store hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. through 6 p.m. If you are calling during these hours, we are busy helping our guests, and no one is available to take your call. Please try us back in a while. Thank you and have a great day.
Okay, so there's no option to leave a message. So they don't want to hear about your complaints, okay? Like the guy told me, Edgar said, you took a chance, you took a risk, you came into this store, you bought something used, and, if it doesn't work, you just have to basically eat it. And I ate about $200 worth of, I buy the High 8 and the VHS-C camcorders because with what's been happening in my life, these devices here, the hackers, they know how to get into these things, and they have been hacking into my devices, and it frustrates me. I have four or five YouTube channels, and I don't receive any money from my YouTube channels, but the people in my family who hired hackers to hack my life, to clone my devices, to take over any forms of business communication so that I could not record their theft of my inheritances, their illegal eviction of myself and my children. They call themselves putting me like in a little box. Okay, we're going to bribe the clerks at the 13th Judicial Circuit Court, and I have already reported this to Cindy Stewart, who is over the clerk's office right now. And I have reported what is happening to my chief judge, Ronald Figueroa, who allegedly retired, and allegedly, this is according to clerk staff. The clerks told me this, the bailiffs told me this at the 13th Judicial Circuit Court, that Ronald Figueroa retired July 2nd, and the new chief judge is Christopher Sabella. And I can never meet Christopher Sabella. Never. So let's look up Christopher Sabella. And I think it's illegal to tell lies to citizens. Thirteenth Judicial Circuit Court Chief Judge Christopher Sabella. See if anything comes back. Okay, so it says the Honorable Christopher Sabella is the Chief Judge of the 13th Judicial Circuit Court of the state of Florida. The 13th Judicial Circuit is comprised solely of Hillsborough County, which includes the city of Tampa. Okay, so maybe he is a real person. Okay, so 13th Judicial Circuit Court, this is Christopher Sabella. That's a portly face. Looks kind of pleasant. Maybe he's a righteous person. I don't know. So, just because that picture is there, I'm not sold that he's a real person just yet. Let's see. There's a lot of corruption here in Hillsborough County, and unfortunately, I have had to suffer. Okay, this says March 1st, 2023. Mike Moore, PIO. What is that acronym? 13th Judicial Circuit Court. The Honorable Judge Christopher Sabella was elected on February 28th by his colleagues as the next Chief Judge of the 13th Judicial Circuit Court. Okay. He's the 14th judge to hold the position of Chief Judge of the 13th Judicial Circuit Court, which serves nearly 1.5 million residents in Hillsborough County, with a 2-year term that begins on July 1st, 2023. Christopher Sabella follows concurrent Chief Judge Ronald Figueroa, who has served as Chief Judge since January of 2015. By statute, a judge is only allowed to serve as Chief Judge for a maximum of 8 years. It is the greatest honor of my judicial career to be elected as Chief Judge at the best circuit in the state of Florida, stated Judge Sabella. Okay, so I think his ethnicity might be Spanish. I don't know. I didn't take the time to learn Spanish, and Florida used to be kind of like, it seemed like it was mostly composed of black and white. In my moving around in this city, I was born here November 24th, 1970, and now my neighborhood is changing. All neighborhoods are changing. It seems like there's a large influx of Spanish-speaking people coming to my neighborhood. And there's a little bit of frustration that I can't really understand them. And they seem to be very rude to me in business dealings many times. And when I need things on the compassion level, they're very compassionate to me. They're very helpful. And I appreciate that. So I told my girls, we have got to learn Spanish because I like being in Florida because I don't like the cold. It gets very, very hot here. I tease people. I say we no longer have summers. We now have saunas. And I do want to own a property somewhere else, maybe Strivers Row in New York. That's like my dream. And when it gets really hot here in Tampa, like after I leave church on Easter, I'm going to just go to my house in New York and hang out there until October. I'm going to be a reverse Canadian. I'm going to run away from the heat and I'll be back maybe in October. That's my dream life. So even Christopher Sabella, I made his office aware of the problems I was having with my stolen identity, my stolen inheritances, the probate crimes that are taking place in the 13th Judicial Circuit Court. And that's when she told me, I said, I would like to meet the new chief judge. And she said, oh, you can never meet the new chief judge. I'm like, never? What is she talking about? He is a public servant, and you can't put me on his calendar so that I can personally share with him the letters that I have sent Ronald Figueroa and received no relief from. That was 30:30 on the timer when I said that, no relief of my grievances. My mom left 6 pieces of property. Her will said share equally, and I got 0. And this courthouse, this 13th Judicial Circuit Court allowed my brother, Anthony, to steal from me. And you all have got to make it right. And they didn't seem too interested. So I really wonder if, let's see, Ronald Figueroa received a piece of my property as a bribe for allowing the corruption to take place, or if he received part of my trust or my inheritances, $1 million or more, to allow this to go down. There's a company called the Rich Man Group, and I think that my brother is connected with that, and I think that my monies are being used for them to build apartment complexes and things. But my children and I are very thankful to the Smith family, Johnny B. Smith Jr. and Sr., for being allowed to live in their house, but we don't have heat. And we made it through the very, very hot summer. We have a little small generator, but we need a larger generator in order to generate heat, or maybe a Mr. Buddy heater and a couple of those 5-gallon propane tanks. And we can make it through get off the court, Mama. We can make it through the winter here in Tampa, Florida, which is not really a serious winter. It's just uncomfortable if you don't like cold. We can make it through the winter just fine, and I won't have so many complaints. But what I'm saying to you is Arthur Atkins and Dorothy Atkins left 6 pieces of property. 700 East Harem, Opelika, Florida, Anthony's house that my mom bought, and he had it switched over into his name. 1316 Kill Place, Valrico Road, 33594. My mom, Dorothy Jean Atkins' home, where she lived with paramour Larry Thompson and Ron Derrick. And when she got custody of my twins, Amun and Aset, they lived there with her when she came down with leukemia, allegedly. My childhood home, 6010 North 32nd Street, Tampa, Florida, 33610. My mom bought 2 properties from my grandmother, Irene P. Scarborough. One was 2210 East Mallory Avenue, Tampa, Florida, 33604, I think. And then 2212 East Mallory Avenue, Tampa, Florida, 33604. And then my granddaddy, Doug Starks, Pike County property. I gave birth to my last child at 2212 East Mallory Avenue. I borrowed $3,300 from, I thought she was my friend. I'm going to say my fake friend, Letitia Karima Penn. Because back in 2010, Ava was living at 6010 North 32nd Street with me. And they have this thing, if DCF took any of your children into DCF custody, if you get pregnant and have another baby, they will automatically take that baby from you at the hospital. Or at least that's the word on the street. So I was looking for a place to give birth separate from 6010 North 32nd Street because my sister was living there with her child, and I didn't want, if DCF came, they say they take everybody in the household, all the children in the household. I didn't want them to take my niece. So I was explaining this to my flea market friend Letitia, and she was like, "Oh, I can help you." I was saying maybe I should go over to my grandma's little shotgun wooden house over here behind the Florida Sentinel, and she said I was telling her it was due to be sold on the county steps. Before the age of computers, they used to meet on the courthouse steps and auction off your property if you were 3 years behind in taxes. And as Americans, I don't know how you can allow somebody to take your stuff in 3 years after you've paid 20, 30 years to own it. And then because you're 3 years behind in taxes, you allow that. And I thought I was going to work really hard and mobilize people and get that changed at least, 6 years or something. When you get into these numbers, this money, it's a numbers games. They're just moving numbers around, and they can do great things if they want to. And if you're in the class, if you're in the power class, you'd be amazed by how they move things around. So I said all of that to say, Letitia, in a brown paper bag, counted out $3,300. I'm pretty sure it was the day before or the day before the property was supposed to be sold at auction. So why did I say she bought? She paid $3,300 to save our property from being sold on the county steps for back taxes. She redeemed that property, and they take that money and they pay back the certificate holder plus some interest. Now, I moved there with my 3-year-old Angola at the time, and then Abby was in my womb. I had just recently gotten back from Savannah, Georgia. I was there bunking with my cousin Marvis Fambro a little bit. She told me I could come there and give birth because I told them I wanted to have a home birth. I don't want to go back to the hospital, especially after the way they gutted me unnecessarily, I'm alleging, stole my placentas from my room, my hospital room, rolled me down to the psych ward, made me sit there for an hour. So I'm saying they kidnapped me basically and committed grand larceny, went through all of the belongings that were in my hospital room, took my working notes as an activist, the notes of the things that were happening to me in the hospital, the notes that I needed to turn into ACHA, ACHC, Agency for Healthcare something in Tallahassee. And they took both of my placentas, and that was my property. And because I'm Rh negative, I am alleging they took that because I have rare blood type and that they used it for stem cell harvesting and made loads of money off of it. And what did I get? I got kicked out of the hospital earlier than I wanted to leave because I asked them if I could stay 2 to 3 more days. I meant you just cut my body open. That C-section is nothing nice. And they said, no, I had to leave. And so my mom paid for me to stay at a hotel on the beach there so that I could walk back and forth to breastfeed my twins. And, they did nice, nasty, hostile things to me there. The nurse was telling me that my nipple was too big to feed my twins. And I'm like, aren't they supposed to be supportive and try to help you? Like, let me go get you a pump, and why don't you try pumping and then feeding the baby from the bottle instead of trying to discourage me from breastfeeding? When I was in my room, tall, I'm going to say ginormous nurse, Rose, RN, said, "Oh, I'm going to take the babies to the nursery to weigh them." I said, "No, they weighed them here, a couple of days ago, yesterday, day before yesterday, in the room. Just weighed them in the room here because I wanted my children to stay with me." I don't agree with children living down and around the corner. They should be with the mother in the room with the mother at all times. I mean, you've been in the mom's womb for what, 8 months, 9 months, however long, and now you're going to take them out and separate them and then put them so far away. A baby should always be where a mother can hear it sigh, it everything, it cry, everything. And that's just the way I felt. And she said, "No, I'm going to take them to the nursery," and ran over my foot. If you've ever seen those bassinets that they have in the hospital, they're made from sturdy wood. That was extremely painful. And she was tussling with me over my children's bassinet. And at that point, they were probably already in DCF custody. I didn't know it. Everybody knew it but me. Then they had a lady sitting in the room holding me hostage, a black lady that looked like a raisin. I mean, she was old, but I'm assuming she was old. Her face was shriveled up. And what was her name? I would say, "Can you please turn the blinds up?" They told me she was there to help me as a new mother, when really I think she was like one of those psych ward aides. They called her a companion sitter, but she was a sinister, hostile person. She wasn't there to help me at all. I asked her to turn it up so that the sunlight would be out of my face, and she turned it so that the sunlight would be more in my face. And what I later found out is they have techniques where people do little things to agitate you. So when you go off, they only record you going off. They don't record the, what do they call that, antecedent, the behavior that caused you to go off. They don't record that. And that was because they wanted to show me in a negative light so that they could create probable cause to take and keep my children. There's no telling what kind of research they've done on my children, how much blood they took from my children outside of my care. So they manipulated my mom and told my mom, "If you get her to sign this form, we'll let you take the children home with you." I said, "Mom, they're lying to you." I was heavy into activism back in 2004. This happened May 26, 2004, Memorial Weekend. It was a Wednesday when they cut me open and took my children from my womb. And my mom, she's like, "Please, Aileen, please." My mom would always start crying, and that was how she got me to agree to things that were against my better judgment. So I agreed. I signed the forms, and then they told her, "Well, we're going to have to take the children into custody. You can't take them home." I said, "Did you see that, Mom? Now, you manipulated me into going along with something that I knew was wrong. I did it for you, and then they denied you." And so it just was a whole bunch of that foolery. But I put my foot down and I said, "I'm not doing things that I know are wrong just because you want me to." And it created a great rift in my family. And my mom said she's going to do what it takes to protect my children. And so it separated us when she should have said, "I'm going to do what it takes to protect the family unit." Because you're talking about a mom who's an activist, working to go to law school, already has an AA degree, a bachelor's degree, and is aspiring to law school. Now, my activism was a little bit on, I guess, what they would consider to be militant. I didn't carry any guns around like the Black Panthers. I maybe put my fist in the air and said, "No justice, no peace." I might have said something like that way back then. But I was not a violent person. I spoke facts in a brutally honest way, and that definitely rubbed people the wrong way because back then it was still, I'm in Hillsborough County, was still kind of on the racist side. They were still tossing African Americans around and kind of being brutal with African Americans and denying access in many aspects to justice. And I tried to stand up for right and I tried to expose these things, and I got a lot of backlash and a lot of negative flack as a result. I'm going to put my name in and see if I even come up. Aileen Dorothea Atkins, Alene. Let's see. My name is spelled incorrectly there. That's not how I spell my name. A-L. So I think part of the problem was I was embarrassing my church family and embarrassing my mother, my grandmother, and as a result, I want to show you what came up. You see that? Dorothea Atkins. So I always try to take note of those things because whoever is pretending to be me, whoever, I have a couple of doppelgangers, but my name only has one O. It's Dorothy in Spanish. That's what my mom told me. Dorothea. Dorthea. Thea. Not Dorothea. Okay, so when I look myself up, Aileen Dorothea Atkins, my YouTube, one of my YouTube channels comes up. I need my money now. Okay, 9:04 a.m. I'm alive, no views. Whenever you see no views, you know that video has been shadow banned. I don't know how they do it, but the hackers know. Or maybe there's somebody that they're paying at YouTube that is disallowing all of my videos to be shown. So this says Elaine Atkins, Eileen. And this could be a bogus page. When they're trying to make it seem like you no longer exist, they will create bogus pages. Okay, so there's an Aileen Atkins, my same exact spelling, branch manager, closer at Release Settlement. You notice how solutions, you notice how it's getting blurry all of a sudden. That's not my doing. I have full-time hackers up the block in cars. It's really ridiculous. Let's see, what else do we get here? So this is a LinkedIn page. I know I made a LinkedIn page when I was trying to get in touch. So this is not me. Branch manager, Knoxville. Somebody sold my information, and I'm alleging somebody in my family sold my information to a Spanish lady years ago, and she started she sold real estate. Now I'm going back to, you see this? I'm going to see if I can re-pull myself up. So the last thing I put into the search bar was my name, but notice how my name is not there now. So I'm just going to type it back in here. A-L-E, Aileen Dorothea Atkins, returned. So I'm just going to scroll through. Okay, Aileen Atkins lives currently at 2212 East Mallory in this particular U.S. phone book. So I stayed there. Another fake friend, Millie Henry, she came from Boston to be my doula. The page you're looking for cannot be found. Please enter a 10-digit. So you saw that, right? In the search bar, it says Aileen Dorothy Atkins is 53 years old, lives in Tampa, Florida. According to public records, Aileen Atkins currently lives at 2212, and it should say East Mallory Avenue, Tampa, Florida 33605. And then it goes to branch manager. Okay, Aileen Atkins, 53, lives in Tampa, Florida with the phone number 305-681-2700. Deutsche Bank Company, National Trust Company. Deutsche. Maybe this is my trust fund that they stole. Let's see. Deutsche Bank. And that's my brother's name versus Anthony K. Atkins, and the significance of the document for Deutsche Bank National Trust. Let's see. Anthony Atkins. All right, so this must be on August. This is regarding my mom's property, I think, at 1316 Kill Place on August 28th, 2017. A motion ex parte was filed involving a dispute between Deutsche Bank Trust Company and Atkins Aileen D. So why would they list me first when my brother's the oldest and he's so-called the executor? Alva Atkins, Alva Melreen, Anthony K. Atkins, Ava R. Atkins, Ava R. Clerk of the Circuit Court, Hillsborough County. Gilly Selena, which is allegedly a baby mama. Let's see, Morgan Stanley Mortgage, Capital Holdings. What is this? I'm trying to read through the... Okay, so I'm going to skip down. Dorothy, State of Florida Department of Revenue. That's my brother's child support. Unknown heirs. Devises. Grantees, assignees, lieners, creditors, and all other parties claiming interest by and through, under, or against the estate of Dorothy Atkins, aka Dorothy J, aka Dorothy Jean Atkins, estate of, unknown spouses of Aileen D. Atkins, unknown spouses of Alva, unknown spouses of Anthony, unknown spouses of Ava. The way this is typed makes me think that it's, I don't know, either shoddy work or not a legitimate document. The way it's not typed, like if I were doing this document, if I put Aileen first, I would do Aileen first the whole way. And they listed me first instead of listing Anthony first. Usually it's Anthony by order of the oldest to youngest. Anthony, Alva, I'm Aileen, I'm the middle, and then Ava's the youngest. And then it says Judge Gregory P. Holder. Track the judge's new cases. Document file date May 31st, 2018. Case filing date August 28th, 2017. Civil. Status closed. Parties, let's see. Aileen D. Atkins, defendant. Alva Atkins, defendant. Anthony Atkins, defendant. Ava Atkins, defendant. Clerk, defendant. Plaintiff is Deutsche Bank National Trust Company. Defendant Selena Ltd. Family Trust. I've been trying to find my trust, and maybe that's it right there. Ltd. Family Trust LLC. So they used my trust to buy my mom's property. So that means that property is still in our hands. Okay, State of Florida Department of Revenue, defendant. That's Anthony's child support. That's Ashley's mom. My brother Anthony, I only have one brother. His first child was with Sandy Simon. That's Ashley Crystal Atkins. Let's see. And then allegedly, Ariel, the baby he had with Selena Gilly, Ariel Crystal Atkins, that's the second's mom. But I told Ariel she should do DNA and find out if Anthony is really her father or if Polly is really her father, because when Selena was pregnant with Ariel, she was engaged to Polly to get married to him. And I don't know what happened to that. They didn't get married. So let's look at the attorneys here. Kathleen McCarthy, Carl Hayes, and there's the lady I talked to, Natalia Oculette. Now, when I went to Jervix Holding to give a letter to Mr. G, I think I was asking him to give me $1,000 as a gift so I could get another Jackery solar generator. They told me that this lady isn't an accountant and not an attorney. This lady, because I went to her office on North Del Mabry and Waters, and she's in the same building with that quack that Dr. Lisa Gaze, that wrote a bunch of lies in a psychological evaluation to have my rights to my twins, my parental rights terminated, in the same building as this attorney. But when I went to, what's the name of that place on Edison Street off of Waters? Can I say the name? Okay. I don't mean you any harm, Mr. G. I think you have people working in your office that you trust, but they're not trustworthy. So as an aspiring future business owner, I hope you take this information in the spirit that it's given. Whenever I come there and try to give you information, they will tell me that they gave it to you, and I don't believe them at all. See how that jumped? I didn't make it jump. So what happened to the information? I think they're just lying. So if there's anybody out there that has information, if you know these systems, help me, because you see that she's listed here as an attorney. Honorable Teshi Arkin. And it makes my stomach hurt, and I guess that's one of the reasons I wonder if it's a good idea for me to go to law school. I don't think I have the stomach for it. Maybe I could be a tax attorney or a intellectual properties attorney. These are problems I'm having. Dale Bonner, I think that was Anthony's attorney, the attorney he paid for. And I wonder, Julia Kite Powell. Julia Kite Powell. Whose attorney is that? Maybe that was Ava's attorney. Honorable Wolf. Mark Wolf. I don't understand these things. And law seems like it's so boring. Last October, I was over there at Stetson trying to determine whether or not, because I thought I would get my inheritance or my trust fund by then, and I was going to pay for my law school education. So I went over to Stetson. They were having like a law day for people who were aspiring to become attorneys, and I missed it, but I came at the tail end, so I was able to grab literature and some candy that was on the table. And I smelt like musk because I stopped using deodorant. I had stopped by the Metropolitan Ministries to ask them for a bus pass, and they gave me a bus pass, and I asked for a blanket. They gave me a blanket. So I went over there with a blanket and a bag, and I looked homeless and I smelled homeless, right? But I mean, if you spoke to me, you could tell that I was an intelligent person, but I guess they're thinking intelligent people don't walk around smelling like musk, carrying their belongings in a paper, 3-meal contractor bag, right? But I was doing the best that I could do because I had been evicted illegally by the 13th Judicial Circuit Court, and my life was still in shambles. Things are a little more stable now for us. We're indoors. We have a house to be in, and we have a monthly bus pass, an EBT card, and so things are a little stable. We still have not returned back to our home at 6010 North 32nd Street. So I question the validity of many aspects of this right here. And I don't really know how to check it. When I go to the 13th Judicial Circuit Court and request records, they have a little box where they put things special for me. If I don't go to a clerk like Tamika or Myronica, the other clerks are like, I can't find it. And then they have to go call Myronica. I don't even know if she still works there. And then Myronica has this little box of my pleadings. So I don't even think they're properly processing my handwritten pleadings, and they are basically trying to say because I handwrite my pleadings, I'm crazy. Judge Cheryl, Cheryl Thomas, Thomas of the 13th Judicial Circuit Court. Maybe her name is now Cheryl Mason. When I go down there and look at the little marquee, it's like they play games. They try to make me think I don't know what I know. And they don't deal with me righteously. They play games. And so I just stopped going down there, and I started sending my complaints out of the state of Florida and sending letters to, should I say that? No, don't tell everything, okay. Seeking help outside of Hillsborough County and outside of the state of Florida. I've sent many complaints to Ashley Moody's office. I'm assuming Ashley Moody is still our Attorney General for the state of Florida. But what I want to say to you is people are mostly buyable. Maybe not everybody, but there's a lot of low behaving people in positions of power. Okay. Appointment of campaign treasurer. Let's see. File download. Okay, let's see what that is. I was running for school board for 2024, and I was waiting for my inheritance to come so that I could pay my $4,000 filing fee. Now, did I turn this in? My oldest daughter was going to be my, what is this called? But if you don't pay the filing fee, you don't end up on the ballot. Now, you can get, you can stump the pavement and get, what do you call them? Signatures if you don't have the money. 813-319-6944. I need to write that down somewhere. I need to get something off of that. So I was running for a county-wide seat in District 7 for the school board, and they held me up. Without the money, you don't have anything. And my daughter is set. She was going to be my deputy treasurer. And I didn't know much about these things. I just know that God has given me some ideas that I think would really work for. I don't even remember turning this in because it needed to be notarized. So, one of the forms needed to be notarized, and we weren't near a notary. So, that's interesting. Let's see. I need to make a screenshot of that. Hold on. Okay. So I was explaining to these people that I was dealing with identity theft, and let's see. Okay. Now you see this. Look down at the bottom. I don't know why this is registering Jacksonville, Florida. I'm in Tampa, Florida. So why is it saying Jacksonville, Florida? I wonder if that lady Natika, one of the people that may have done identity theft on me. Let's ask God some questions. Divine creator of this fine universe doesn't allow me to be deceived by cloaking methods. In the name of Jesus, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Is somebody connected to James Johnson? Yesterday, when I was leaving here, I saw that dark blue SUV BMW, and that lady, I think, is connected to James Johnson. But it didn't look like the lady was driving yesterday. It looked like a man was driving. But as I left here, they backed out and zoomed down the little side street. So I just took a picture. I could not see the license plate. And just because a license plate is on a car doesn't mean it belongs to that car. But at least I could give that to like the FBI, CIA. Move along. Y'all getting on my nerves. I'm talking to the rat family. They're supposed to stay in the roof. at least the technology maybe of the FBI, CIA, ICE, they can look those things up and deal with those things. I wonder what is this? I did. So they might have successfully gotten my other page shut down. The one that shows. That I can't be sitting around waiting for the FBI, CIA, for Judge Ronald Figueroa to do right. They may never. I'm a black woman that's an activist. Why would they care? But you will be brought to justice. Okay, so that's one of my little rants because I was disappointed that something didn't happen. And this is on which one of my channels? It doesn't show. Is this under missing not missing? So let me look up my main channel that has all of my evidence, the eviction day and all of that on it. Let's see if that channel is still up and moving. They probably got paid off of that channel and then got it shut down so that the intellectual property attorney, yeah, it's no longer in here. It was just Lily. So that channel is gone. When I started talking about suing YouTube, I noticed many things were no longer accessible to me. I'll unplug this so we don't break that. So let's do this. And I'm going to look up Johnny Will Lofton. Bear with me. Johnny Will Lofton. There's so many pitiful people in the world. They think that because they can steal from people that makes them like a genius or something. Okay, this is my other channel, Reality Speaks Again. Let's see. That was 3 years ago. So who's doing the making things blurry? Why is John Waldron, Divine Creator? Is John Waldron near here? Yes. I wish I could get up and go check. Okay, this says evicting Johnny Will Lofton. They say their name is the Meridian River Corporation. It's a not-for-profit. He lived in River Pines, and they were evicting him, I believe, unjustly. And last night. Okay. Good morning. Today is July 17th. That's Johnny Will Lofton. He is being evicted from his apartment tomorrow, the 18th, according to an eviction hearing that occurred June 1st, 2021 at 11:30 before Judge Miriam Valkenburg of the 13th Judicial Circuit Court. This is River Pines Apartments. It's a 50. Okay, so I don't need to go further with that. I'm trying to think of significant things organization that owns the property. This that occurred that Johnny Will Lofton might. I don't know if he's alive or dead now. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years. After leaving downtown and leaving the pool that was closed for the season, I ended up at Rosetta Lofton's house on 17th Street, right off of 21st Avenue. First, I was walking up and down Igor Street. Can you all hear the engine on that car outside? That was the street. I think that's one of the hackers. It puts me in the mind of, should I say that? No. Okay. They sold the church to somebody else. I dropped Johnny Will Lofton off to his sister. I'm retelling an incident. To churches and getting food, but he was one single man, so you ain't got 4 children and a nephew that you're trying to provide for. And Alex did start like paying for his own food from 2K every day. I don't know how, but he did. So I didn't have to really provide food for him too much. Then he started working at Papa John's and bringing pizza home. He said he was working at Papa John's. I never believed that. No. Okay, so let me look for the rest of my channels. Never believed you were working there. But back to the story. If they have a power of attorney and or conservatorship over me, nobody ever invited me to come to court and defend myself or anything like that. So I'm not sure. Okay, so that channel is no longer in existence either. That Rosetta helped her mom get the house, and that's why Rosetta ended up with the house. Okay, so they've gotten rid of most of my other channels. I guess they got a big payout from those channels and then shut them down. I was just making a little small documentary. So let's see. ALENE. Like making a gun noise with her finger. Um, the lady across the street seemed to have an angry demeanor. She seemed to have a phone in her hand, like maybe she was communicating to somebody. Then somebody rode by on the bike. You know how in black communities they have the people that watch out for the police or whatever. I don't know what it's called. I don't really know drug culture. I can pick up on some things though. And I guess I seemed harmless enough, so nobody bothered me. I walked up to the corner, sat down. There was a guy sitting there. I asked him, does bus 6 really stop here? Because bus 6 is on detour and it's doing weird things. He said, yeah. I said, I can still talk. My mom is just using my... Okay, topics trending in tarot. I said, I can still talk. My mom is just... So we were at Metropolitan Ministries and I saw a person that was following me. I don't see her too much anymore. How to know when God is talking to you. Okay, so that was one of the channels. Generally speaking, the voice. TUSK 5891. This was on a phone that a fake friend gave me, but he didn't really give it to me. He gave it to me so I could put my pertinent information in, and then they could turn on, find my device, and then steal the phone back. And they did steal the phone back. They stole the phone back on April the 4th of 2020. What was that, 2022? The day I was supposed to go to court for a so-called driving with no license, no suspended license, no insurance, even though the person who gave me the phone, Donnie, was allegedly paying my insurance. How to know when God is talking to you. Generally speaking, it's the first voice. Generally speaking, let's see. The voice speaks just above a whisper. You can't really see it. Tusk 5891. So I'm going to go and subscribe to that channel. Generally speaking, the voice speaks just above a whisper. Listen and you'll live. How to know when God is talking to you. Okay, so that's something I put up for my Begging for a Billion campaign, March 6, 2022. Listen and you'll live. How to know when God is talking to you. Generally speaking, it's the first voice. Now, I met, I guess they're saying we went to school together. I don't remember Paul when we went to school, but I am wondering if Paul Hanner Jr. is a part of stealing my money from my YouTube channels. When I met Paul, who brought him over to the house? Somebody brought him over to our house in 2003, and we dated. I guess we dated, so called briefly. And he was on this love kick, and I was on this black militant kick. So it wasn't a good fit at all. And after I got pregnant, we got separated, and I haven't seen that man in that's 21 years. Now, I did see somebody at the laundromat that looked like him. I thought it was his son. I didn't think it was him. And a lady that somewhat resembled me in the laundromat Grand Wash on 34th and Hillsboro. And I just started singing, "Wade in the water, wade in the water, children," because I don't know what they were doing. One of them was driving a car with a Buccaneers tag, and then the other car was parked perpendicular to the other car. So it looked like whatever they had going on, it was an altercation because one person was blocking another person in. But I never spoke to him. The person didn't speak to me because I thought it was a child. It's like, I wonder, he looks a lot like Paul. What is going on here? The lady was over there with my daughter, talking to my daughter, because my daughter, I sent her over there to wash a load of clothes. We were living across the street in Dr. Twiggs's old dental office building, 3304 East Hillsborough Avenue. And God sent me over there to the laundromat. And that's how I knew they were over there. And she had given my daughter some laundry detergent because, again, we were really still in a state of shock about being evicted. My mom said, "Don't sell this house." So for my siblings to come together and evict me and so-called later sell the house for $306,000. And in my mom's will, it said share equally. So you saw the four names: Anthony, Alva, Aileen, Ava. So if you split $306,000 four ways, you don't get $19,000. But my sister Alva said, "Aileen, you got money at the courthouse. You got $19,000 at the courthouse." And when I was praying and meditating and asking God about the $19,000, I got that the $19,000 came from Amalie Oil. They had given me a financial gift because at Amalie Oil, some employee, or I don't know who took it. I went to the bathroom, I came back, and legal paperwork had been stolen out of my bag. Other things happened at Amalie Oil when I was working there. And I'm not trying to badmouth Amalie Oil, because when you hire people to do a job and you think you can trust them, if you can't trust them, then, terrible things happen. But according to People Ready, the heavyset black guy at the Columbus office, I can't remember his name, or I would say his name. And there's an older Caucasian lady with mostly gray hair that used to sit behind the desk with him. They told me I was on the DNR list. And then when I went to Liberty Staffing to get back to work at Amalie Oil, Tom and Sharon told me I was on the DNR list. Other than that, I wouldn't be begging y'all for money. I would go and work every day at Amalie Oil, take my little paychecks. It's not their fault I have to work through temporary agencies. Take my little, at Liberty Staffing, my checks would be like $61 sometimes. At People Ready, it'd be about $75. Take my paychecks, clump them up, and buy myself another Jackery solar generator. I do the same thing to get my daughter another iPad. But being on the DNR list, even when I go to other staffing agencies that I'm connected to, I don't get assignments. And now my car, my 2011 Dodge Caliber, mango tango orange in color, disappeared from Dr. Twiggs's building at 3304 East Hillsborough Avenue, Tampa, Florida 33610. Now, all I needed was insurance. My key was, broken into two, but if I would tape it down hard, I could put it in there and drive. So all I needed was insurance to drive that car. But I went back over there because we would check periodically. Alva, my sister Alva said, Aileen, your car is gone, which she probably knows where my car is. She's the one that I am alleging took a fake death certificate, and she either took it to Tallahassee or mailed it to Tallahassee and told them I was dead, and she claimed my inheritance, the whole thing. The evil bit, I'm sorry, getting emotional. She didn't give me $1 out of my own money. Do you hear me? I'm not going to start talking about it because I'm going to get emotional, and then I'm going to start talking crazy, and I might even cry. And I'm not going to allow myself to be brought down. I'm going to enjoy this wonderful full moon energy and use it to manifest benevolence. So I need you all to pray for me. And something simple, just, Dear Lord, in the name of Jesus or in the name of whoever you pray to, I mean that. On behalf of Aileen Dorothea Atkins and her womb seed, would you please bestow upon them prosperity, peace, and protection? Or you can just say, I pray for peace, prosperity, and protection for Aileen Atkins and her family. So I'm begging for 1,000,000,000 prayers. It's easier to get prayers than it is to get money, because if I ask you all to send me money on Cash App, some kind of way they steal the Cash App money. If my children send me money, they'll leave it alone. But if money comes from another source, I am alleging that they steal it. And I don't know how you can do that, but I believe they're doing that. So that's why I say alleging. I ain't got no proof. So the other thing I wanted to do was I might as well put it all in the same live, since I don't have to worry about how much space or gigabytes I have on the devices. When I'm going through the world and I see weird things, I like to document it, because lately they've been sending people to me to try to, oh my God, to try to make it seem like I am doing some kind of drugs or something. Okay, when you see this, if you come to visit, nobody really ever visits us. We're over here in that little house, which looks kind of abandoned, right? This is not my company in that truck right there, okay? I don't have company. And I'm stating that mostly for the law enforcement and the private investigators. So the house that we were using to charge our generator has maybe been sold. When I'm on the bus, certain people give off energies that make me uncomfortable. And a lot of times I think they're doppelgangers, so I might take a picture of them and cars that I see following me or being around me 3, 4, 5 times, and I assume they're following me. I will record it now this day. Let's see. Okay, there was a car at the neighbor's house, and I was just wondering if it was safe for me to go back over. So where's the guy that was following me in the blue? He was wrapped in a blue. Okay, there he is. He got off the bus with me, and I was like, Lord, I hope this man is not going to follow me back over here. So I sat down at the park and waited until he left. Her back there, She seemed to be recording me. This guy right here gave me a sandwich, some Twinkies. That was Saturday. That was Saturday? Yeah, that was Saturday. And he was saying he was new to town. She seemed to be very interested and she seemed to be recording. So when she got off the bus, she pointed her phone towards my face. So these might be those people that were living in our property at 6010 North 32nd Street. I try to record my notes when I get here because so much is happening. Every time I go out into the world, that is, he said his name was Tampa Bay Tony. He walked up to me and handed me $1 and said, I gave it to you because I had it to give. But there was a short, fat, he appeared to be Mexican or Venezuelan man that was watching and recording. So it made me think that they were trying to create fake documentation that they're going to submit to the court and say, see, she take drugs, she sell drugs, she know him, something like that. And so I asked him, I went up there to ask him, why did you give me $1? Oh, I had it to give, like it was $100 bill. And I sell candy, so I said, here. And I tried to give him $1 worth of chews, and he said, oh, no, no, no. And he was yelling and screaming and talking about how he's working on buildings and all of that. So I don't know what that was about. But I said, I'm going to document it. This is in Bravo grocery store. And this one burner right here is $49.99. And this is why I was trying to get my money back from Red, White, and Blue thrift store. If they give me my $40 back, I only need another $10 plus tax, and I can get this brand new. And I guarantee you it will work new out the box. They have the 2-burner one here. I didn't see a price on it, so I don't know. I'll be working on purchasing those things, whether the thrift store gives me my money back or not. What I would like to do now is find an attorney that can file a lawsuit or send a letter of settlement where they can give me maybe, I want all of my money back at this point. The $200 that I spent on those camcorders that never worked, I stopped buying electronics from them because they didn't work. Just because you say no refund and no return or exchanges, if you're intentionally selling products that don't work and fleecing people, that's not okay. Now, my daughter and I were arguing in the store because she felt like I should just let it go. And I'm like, I can't take the hit. I can't just let go $40. And she had some headphones. So when we got to the house, she said, Mom, I didn't mean what I said. There's a green motorcycle that used to follow me years ago, a couple of years ago, even when I was working in St. Pete, because I left Hillsborough County to work in St. Pete because I couldn't get work here with the temporary agencies. So I was working at the USDA. Where is that? What bus is that? Oh, I don't even remember. But they pack boxes of food during disasters, and I think for elderly people or something. I was working with them. Is that a shadow? Is that the leaves? Or I'm trying to see. The camera is not picking it up. I see movement underneath the shadow of the door. I'm trying to figure out if that's leaves or if that's a person. And then I was working at a car wash. I liked working at the car wash. Back then, what was that, 2022? We were giving a donation to Anthony Johnson to bunk on his sofa sleeper. And so that had to be around September because he said September 19th, I can no longer help you. I don't think you can be helped. That was his conversation with me. I said, okay. when people are helping you, they think that they have the power to tell you how to live your life and what you should do. And when you don't allow them to manipulate your life because they're letting you bunk on their sofa, then they get mad. But it's like, sir, I appreciate the help, but I'm not giving you dominion over my life. And you don't get to tell me what to do. If you want this $10 to let us sleep here at night, thank you. If not, then like you said, you can't help us, and now we got to find a new place to be. And that's what we did. We found a new place to be. And thank you very much, Anthony Johnson. Okay, so this motorcycle has resurfaced. And when I'm listening to tarot, sometimes they'll say, oh, they're trying to, link up with you, to have sex with you, to give you AIDS. They're trying to send somebody to inject you with AIDS. Okay, so the neighbor was parked up the block. I don't know what that was about. But every time I leave, the neighbor will back into their yard. So maybe she's trying to help protect me. I don't know. But I noticed ever since she started parking up the block, those men don't sit on the stoops anymore or even at the bus stop. So I'm going to say thank you, I guess. My sensei said even your enemy can bless you. That's something that my sensei taught me years ago, like 20 years ago, because I haven't talked to him in 20 years. Or maybe it was 19 years ago that I haven't spoke to him in about 19 years. I try to do this stuff right away because some of the pictures end up being removed some kind of way. No. I think I covered all the recent pictures anyway. Lately, I keep seeing these Corvettes around me, and I don't know what that means. A white one with a little black, and yesterday the one I saw was blue, and then I saw a red one. So I'm like, if you hear the Rat family arguing, just ignore it. I try to. It's really annoying. Is there anything else I need to cover? Okay, that Massey truck passed me. A hatchback Massey. What did I get? Any at McDill and Columbus Drive, 12:06 p.m. on November the 14th, 2024. Okay, so it seems like I've covered everything I needed to cover. So I'm just basically hoping and praying that my inheritance will come in soon, one of them, even if they give me my stimulus checks from way back, that would be great. I don't, let's see. Got my mail from the moon, and this mail is from 2023, and it is now November of 2024. So I want to get a subpoena, Dukas Takem, and pull the original forward mail forwarding request, and it will prove that she forwarded my mail before June 2nd, 2022, when we were evicted Even if she forwarded my mail for whatever reason, she should have been giving me my mail. And I'm going to the police department to file charges against her for mail theft and inheritance theft. My food stamp card wasn't in there. And Moon said he doesn't have it, which I don't even believe him. I think he does have it, but I don't know what to say. Angola told me that she thinks basically I'm delusional and I don't really have any money, and I just keep saying these things that are not true. It's 8:18 a.m. It is Sunday, November the 10th, 2024, Tampa, Florida East. All right, so you all pray for me that my children will continue to have faith in me and that something will come through to show and prove to my children that I am not just making this up. And I do have inheritances that are owed to me. And she saw the will. She knows I'm on the will. She saw where it said share equally. So she knows that part. She lived at 2212 East Mallory Avenue with me. She knows where Grandma Irene's house is at 2913 East 20th Avenue. She knows we lived with Anthony for at least a year at 700 East Harem Avenue in Opelika, Florida. She visited 3212 East Jean Street, Lawrence Alexander Cambridge's place. So they have foundational knowledge, but I don't receive any of my mail. If I ask for my mail, this July, my oldest daughter went with my oldest sister to a family reunion, Griffin, Georgia, Spalding County, Pike County. I don't know where exactly the family reunion was, but my sister told me that I had mail from DCF regarding my EBT, my food stamps, and she said she would send it to me. But when I got the mail from my son, the EBT letter was from a year ago. So that means she kept my current EBT information. My EBT card, I guess, fell out of my pocket. Maybe somebody picked it up at the bus stop that night we were leaving Sprouts. I felt like somebody had mailed my card to the house and it was in that mail. But when I got the mail, it wasn't in there. Well, I asked the Inspector General to investigate that and see what's going on with my account. I can't stop people from stealing. I don't know how to stop them. I just try to document and report and live forward. I'm so disappointed with people. People by and large are pitiful. And if that's not true, in the name of Jesus, please elevate me to a friend circle of people who have integrity. Please elevate me to a friend circle with people who have integrity. I want to see if those people exist, and I would like to be friends with people who have integrity. I would like to see what that feels like. Amen. Amen. Thank you for listening to my rant. Godspeed. I'm ending this live with 1 hour 44 minutes and 44 seconds.